to...
Where's the link? Because I'm not gonna stream his shit. You know what I mean?
The
I don't
link
have all that.
should be coming up live if you guys subscribe.
Man, I don't pay attention to my YouTube notifications.
Let me see. I'm looking at
YouTube
mine
or
now, and
Twitch?
I'll send it to you right now.
I'm gonna go on YouTube and everything. I get it.
No, I'm sending it to you. I have it. I feel like this is the best I've ever done, where everything in the streams actually say the right words. Buddy.
Oh, I see it's live now.
Paste. And E.
Oh, I can hear us on YouTube. We're not muted on YouTube yet.
It's late, squires. UFC is finished. Your friends have all gone home. When the gloves come off, the real fights begin. Sleep deprived, drunk or high, all are welcome to Fights on the Round Table.
We are back with the Fights of the Round Table. We had a absolutely shit show of an event. I have never seen so many fallouts ever. The post-COVID season is running hot. My fight championships are taking a hit. How did you guys do this Saturday? Unreal amount of fights.
Yeah, for me, I kind of lost interest in the fights altogether because it was like, what fights are even fucking still on? I thought the OSP fight was out. I kind of lost interest in the fights
That's
altogether.
me. That echo is just me from
That's all
not
good.
turning my echo down when I'm checking into the YouTube. Okay. So
You're right, though.
you're so right. It was a shit show. I was like, kind of, by the time it got to the end, I was hoping they'd be canceled. I didn't want them to be messing with my picks.
Yeah, I was like, when people were talking about all the fights that were getting canceled, I was like, hey, remember that time they canceled a whole fight card just for the main event?
Right.
I was thinking, like, why don't they just do that to this card?
It wouldn't have been wrong.
Save up some cards. It used to be,
Exactly.
you know, we'd have like a 10, 9, 10, maybe even 11 card bout, and then we'd get like one or two thrown on short notice. Now we have like a 2 card bout and the rest of the fight cards put together short notice.
Yeah, I don't get that for next week or whatever. Is that what you guys are talking about?
Well, just in general throughout the weeks, like, people are 24 hours notice isn't unusual anymore.
Yeah.
Kelleher had 2 opponents weigh in, and it switched out within 24 hours. His second opponent, Rodriguez, who lost quickly. But I mean, what else did we have fall off? Romanov, Lima.
Oh yeah, that looked like it was gonna be a banger too.
Yeah, I was so excited for that. I had to switch so many cards up. What else fell out?
He was a big boy.
Yeah. Yeah, he is. But he can move. Love those double underhooks that he showed. So can't wait for that one later. There was another couple, too, that fell out. Which other ones fell out? Lady Fight Rosa, I think, for Sarge. And
Carol Baskin is what I like to call her.
You're going to be watching this season of Dancing with the Stars then?
Is she on it or something?
Yeah.
I never watched any Dancing with the Stars.
Yeah, I don't
I
care
did.
enough about dancing.
I did. With Chuck Liddell and Paige Van Zandt were there. I absolutely did watch those seasons. And Randy Couture, for that matter. He was on there.
You watched tons of Dancing with the Stars then.
Season 3, Season 8, Season 12.
He became fans of the dancers that helped with the stars.
You knew who was on this
I've seen a buck
season.
cracker through there.
There's no fighters. You knew everyone in the lineup. You're like, you're going to be watching Dancing with the Stars this season then, right? Buddy was like, nah, player.
No, dude, I'm good. PVZ already lost. I'm out.
That's funny shit. Yeah, I think my DraftKings, I haven't even opened them. I'm scared to look because I got ripped out of 2 Fight Pick Championship perfect Ds because of bad judging.
And to Kelleher not pick, I had a submission round number 1, but it was a different opponent, so I'm assuming I get a 0.
What was the bad decisions?
There was one submission that wasn't a submission, and it was an early stoppage, even when they showed it from 2 separate angles and tried to slow it down. No, he was like trying to grab for a wrist, and then
It was not a tap.
It wasn't a tap. And then
No.
the last fight of the night with Overeem, that was a bit fast. So they had to play.
Really? I felt like I just seen him quitting, bro. Like, it just seemed like he kind of he gave up, and it was like he wanted the ref to stop him, but I guess last minute he decided he's not a bitch.
I don't know.
Because if you watch, like, the minute he pulls him down, is like, watch his face. He's just defeated. Mm-hmm. He like gives his back up and shit. He's like, just go ahead and beat on me, and then elbows get cut him and shit. And
I don't know. I just felt like he took maybe 2 to 3 unanswered shots. I just think there needs to be some sort of consistency with how many unanswered shots a guy takes at the end of a fight to call it a KO. If he's still, I mean, that was the defense. Even though he's laying on his side, it's not the best position to be in, but he's still defending. So just for him to take 3 shots, even though it's from a large dude, I just feel like it's sizist. In the same way they're like, you wouldn't have stopped that fight if it were a dude. When the ladies say that, I feel like you wouldn't have stopped that fight if it was 3 shots from a 155er.
Exactly. It's a 265 or 240, whatever he is, and he's fucking raining down elbows, fucking literally landing perfectly. Like, you know what I mean? Like, what? It's a way different strike than a 55er on top of you.
Nah, I just think there has to be.
In my opinion, he was getting fucked up, and he was only going to take more damage because he already quit. I mean, I've really personally seen, like, I was watching the way he was looking, his body language. To me, I just was like, oh, he already quit.
Oh yeah, I thought he was quitting toward the end of the fight too, but I still thought it was early.
Don't you try to smoke and not let me smoke too. Y'all doing it, I'm doing it.
You need to be careful with that. It's gonna make you weak. It's gonna make your lungs weak.
What do you mean?
So what do you think, E?
So
Perfect stoppage, early stoppage?
I kind of saw it was the beginning of the end regardless. I didn't think that with as much of the round left that it was going to get any better for Sakai, so kind of saved them with a little bit of damage. I thought it was justified. I thought Sakai, again, he was eating those shots, but it's just like Cabbage Carrera. It's like those guys' heads are too big for their own good, and they'll eat damage that doesn't need to be there. They're not going to win that. They're not going to turn that fight around, and Sakai couldn't get up. He couldn't get up. He had options that many other fighters would be, so I don't mind it. I think Sakai is going to come back and be a whole lot better from that and really start to work on his ground game because it was non-existent. As soon as Overeem realized with that first trip, game over. Overeem was like, "Oh, this is way easier," which we said on the podcast. If Overeem goes to the ground, it's a different fight. It's just
I
whether
thought
he
that
does or not.
trip was
That-
sneaky. I was impressed
Yeah, it
with
was
that
a nice
little
one.
trip. I thought it was kind of next level. I didn't see it coming, rolling up on that. What was it, a rolled up single leg? I don't even know what that thing was called.
He did an outside trip on the first initial one, and then the second two takedowns Overeem had were he sat in a chair where he more tripped the kneecap and pulled him over himself. Daniel Cormier hated it because it's non-traditional, but when you're trying to get someone to the ground and you're just muscling and whatever, it works. I mean, it's like tabletopping someone. You're locking a joint and then throwing them over it. So it works. Overeem made it work. It was definitely a fun one. Good fight. I definitely thought Sakai looked better than I expected, honestly, in that fight. But we had a whole fight card, even though we had all of these fallouts with let's go over some of just the fallouts that we had on this fight night. Initially, weeks ago, we had Nico Montano fallout against Julian Avila. Then we had De La Rosa versus Munoz. Munoz fell out. Macy Chiasson Eubanks fell out. Kelleher Simone fell out. Kelleher stayed on the card. Moises Turner, that was the other one that fell out within 24 hours. Moises fell out this morning. Popped for COVID.
I think that was the one
And
I
then
was
we
most
had-
bummed about.
Yeah, I agree. Well, I don't know. I was more bummed for De Lima versus Romanov. I really want to see Romanov, and that was a gimme fight. I was really I stacked my entire night. I had 90% exposure to Romanov, but I said that. I really liked him. Then Eubanks Rosas fell out, and Kelleher Natidad fell out. So Kelleher got a short notice replacement on 24 hours. The new normal, right? This is the new normal in the UFC.
It's making you less invested in the fights for sure.
Yes, it is. Absolutely is.
Have
Like,
you
how
got
can
on
we care if we
Tapology yet,
there?
bud? Sorry to interrupt.
I keep forgetting.
Oh, that is one of the other cool features of Tapology is at the bottom. It says every canceled fight. And as he was reading them off, I just pulled them up. And it's like, I don't know, that's the new normal in the UFC, that many canceled fights.
Yep.
It's insane.
It used to be one or two. And now it's just the false positives as well, because OSP, his last fight, apparently he didn't have COVID. It was a false positive, which is shown for multiple fighters now. Really interesting. Kind of where they're getting their stats from and how it all registers. Yeah.
Weird.
Really weird.
I know.
But we had the night start out with who? Hunter Azure coming in against short notice. Well, Cole Smith, little bit bigger of a guy in grinding session. A lot of wrestling. A lot of wrestling. Didn't really like what I saw from either guy moving forward. I think they're both kind of at the lower level, and I don't see either guy making a run, winning and or for the title anytime soon.
Yeah.
Did you guys catch this first one?
I didn't
I
mind
did.
it.
7:30.
I thought it was a busy
A lot of
fight.
grappling.
It was there. Yeah, I kind of didn't care one way or the other. I mean, there was some couple of fun moments, kind of, but nothing to make me get out of my chair or yell or anything.
Yeah, mainly grappling oriented.
Buddy, like how you were saying, like it's less of an investment. Doesn't it even feel that way with the amount? Like looking down at this fight card when you saw like 6 or 7 fights, you're like, what? What? When was the last time there's been this little baby fight card?
It felt like a contender series, like a Tuesday night fight card.
I don't get it. I mean, maybe they're just trying to put some money in some people's pockets, but it feels pointless.
Well, I do feel like there is an opening, even though more sports are finally coming back. I do feel like there's been a lot of eyes on MMA because it was the first sport back, so they're just kind of keeping that flow going. And I'm sure there was a big bump of viewership when it was just the UFC in town, and now they're just kind of keeping that rolling. But I mean, we got fights till the year's end. every single Saturday. So it ain't gonna stop.
Is it Costa Adesanya? Is that already next weekend?
No, that's the
Oh.
weekend after that. It's the 26th, I
Melted.
believe. So maybe like 2 more weekends.
Who's next
That
week?
fight's not happening. I cursed that fight already.
You don't
How
think-
dare you?
I
How
did
dare
last
you?
week, remember?
Oh yeah.
Somebody gonna get COVID.
The way it's
Ugh.
going, dude, I can't even deal. Like it's
Like-
I don't get excited for fights no more. I'm like, if it happens, cool.
that's a
I
smart
get
way to
excited
play
when I
it.
see them in the fucking octagon.
That's a really smart way to play it. You almost can't even, and I mean, we've seen this now more than ever. It used to be safe about an hour after weigh-in. Once we saw everyone weigh in, that first hour was dangerous for that rehydration time. But then once those fights started to solidify every hour that passed, now up to an hour before the fight card, before the actual start time, we cannot have be
Not
sure.
even. Not even. Do you remember a little fight between, was it Max Griffin and somebody? And Max Griffin fainted
Kevin Holland, or never mind.
fainted literally a minute before he walked out, and they're like, fights off.
I thought it was
Was
Kevin
it-
Holland versus somebody else. It, not Max Griffin. He's got a weird name. I always feel like
Somewhere in that range. Mike Davis? No.
No. Damn, his last name is so weird. It's like a G, and some people would say it with a G, and some people say it with a J.
Geoff Neal?
No, his last name. He's kind of like a shorter black dude.
I thought he was
Oh.
average black.
He
dude.
fought Zach Cummins, and Zach Cummins almost knocked him out at one point.
Mike Griffin.
Not
Travis Giles.
Trevin Giles. Trevin Giles.
Yes!
boom.
Good call. Trevin
I told you
Giles.
that with a G. That's like Giles or Giles.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Good call. So yeah, that literally fell out minutes before they walked out to fight. That shit's nuts. It's a new normal. It's normal. It's normal.
It's normal.
It's normal. Another one that looked a little bit normal in here was Viviana Araujo coming in and defeating Montana De La Rosa, who had multiple opponents change throughout this fight camp. She was a team elevation, but again, as we were saying on that B, the takedowns aren't there for De La Rosa, and if she can't get it to the ground, she's kind of a sitting duck striking. She did look like she improved to me as far as the hands, but Araujo had her beat everywhere, especially to the calf kick. And I was really surprised Araujo wasn't throwing that calf kick in the third round, but once the fight was over, she was limping. So
Did you know De La Rosa landed more leg kicks than Araujo in that fight?
I did not know that.
You
I
couldn't
didn't
have
see that
possibly
straight
known
step.
that because DC had Araujo's dick in his mouth the whole fight. That's all I heard the whole entire fight was just Araujo. And granted, she pieced her up. By the time I felt like every minute the fight went on, she started to figure that puzzle out, and she just looked beautiful by the end. I felt like she just tightened it up. She looked awesome. But I felt like the first round, De La Rosa, she looked pretty okay. She was kind of a two-trick pony, and so it was kind of an easy puzzle to figure out. But she was landing hella leg kicks in that first round and straight up the middle teep kicks and stuff. But DC, I don't even think they said her name maybe one time to every 20.
You're so right here. Araujo, 82 strikes. Counted 85 for De La Rosa, but De La Rosa had a takedown in that fight.
Yeah, but it was very obvious to me who didn't have the commentary. Like I wasn't listening to commentary. I was playing my game and shit. But I was, so like I was hearing my party chat, but I was watching the fight. To me, it was just she was fucking her up more.
Yeah, she was landing with power.
I mean, her jaw was just
Cut under both
blood
eyes,
everywhere.
eyebrow cut, nose
Her
bleeding.
was fucked up.
Yep.
Everything. So it's like
within the first
okay,
two combinations of the fight, she done fucked up that girl's nose.
Yep.
yeah, and it just felt like she was just wearing her down and beating her up the whole fight. Even if she did land more leg kicks, it just felt like she was getting her ass whipped. So that's why I wasn't mad about any of that. But I wasn't listening to DC like overly go crazy either.
230 27s, 129 28, but all of them going to Araujo there. I don't see that either one really being a contender right now. As you're making a great point here, De La Rosa outstruck technically Arujo. She just had a lot more power. That right hand coming over heavy, but fight IQ Arujo there. Still, she got her. I think that cardio issue she has not only is the cardio, but that fight IQ. She just doesn't think as much as you would in there, or she doesn't show that she has a progression to adjust at times in there against the lady she was beating in my eyes during the live fight in Rosa. It could have been a finish and it was just kind of sagged into a stale decision. So I'm
But
tentative
I
on
do
both of
agree
these
with.
ladies.
I think Arujo, like, she was cutting off the cage. She had octagon control, hands down more. And I really didn't know homegirl, other girl, even got close to more significant strikes. I just thought she had a lot of leg kicks in the first round, specifically for De La Rosa. But I don't hate Arujo going forward. I thought she showed some okay shit in there. I saw somebody say that she should fight JoJo Calderwood next, and that would be
Oh, I love
interesting
that.
for me because I like both their boxing styles as far as the women's 125 go.
I like that fight. That would be an interesting one as well. De La Rosa, I think, is on a 3-fight losing streak now. So might be on that jobbing block.
Bum, bum, bum. She might be taking the highway bet.
Absolutely meeting that one later on. Then we had a quick finish come in for the Fight Pick Championships. Technically, this wasn't on there, right? Because Navidad was who we actually picked. And we didn't have a chance
I wish
to
it
switch
was
over.
because for everybody that picked Kelleher, we would have been almost in some money. We're not.
I had Kelleher submission round number 1 against any opponent. I
That's
said
what
it
I
on the cast. I was like, it doesn't matter who it is. I got Kelleher submission round 1. Sure enough, guillotine in the first 40 seconds. Quick, fast, and in a hurry.
I'm with you on that because I said that on the. I didn't say against anyone. I just said against him, against his opponent or whatever. And then in the party, they were talking. They're like, "Oh, his opponent changed." I was like, "Damn, that sucks." And then I was like, "Well, I still got him first round submission."
Me too.
Me too. I like Kelleher.
So, especially against these debuters, anybody with not much experience, Rodriguez here weighed in as well, just because they thought that the other guy, whoever it was there, was going to be a little bit iffy. But Rodriguez didn't matter. He would have fought us, Alistair Overeem, for a UFC contract. And that's what I think a lot of these guys are doing to supersede the Contender Series fights or regional scene fights that aren't going on. They're just taking a fight knowing they're going to probably lose, and maybe they land a Janus type of a knockout in the first round, and all of a sudden you got a 4-fight contract.
Yeah.
So, but performance of the night does Brian Kelleher win again, wins another bonus, another $50K in the bank, both fighters. So, hey, you lose a fight, you don't take any damage as Rodriguez, you can fight it another week, you might get finished again for another $50K. All of a sudden,
The way
you got
it's
$100K
going
extra in your pocket.
in the UFC, just what you're saying is so true. There's a good opportunity. Brian Kelleher could be on a plane to Yas Island because those fight cards are falling apart left and right. So
Oh, yeah.
He fights all the time.
he's a
So
guy
why
that
do
would just stay
people-
there the whole time and be like, I'll be on short notice for one of these fights.
Why do people think that being on Yas Island is going to prevent these fights from falling out?
I
The
don't think-
hyper isolation, potentially, because they're on like a designated quarantine zone, where in maybe Vegas they're still walking around like Caesar's Palace or some bullshit.
That's probably exactly it.
I'm just thinking out loud because I'm curious. People are like, go to Yas. It doesn't happen in Yas. I'm like, you've been there twice. How do you fights fell out then? You know, there's nothing guaranteed in these times right now.
Yeah, maybe
so.
it is the hyper isolation though, that if it's like however many days before they have to test the original time, they have to then be on the island for however many days before they test. So maybe every day they're on the island that it's not positive. It's such a exclusionary zone. The fight potential of happening goes up. You know, because they're not running into anyone else. I could see it. And maybe the dry desert climate. Who fucking knows? Who knows? I don't know if it's any better or worse. I just think if they were to maybe not try to put on so many fights, they could have some backups where people were there like, I'll take a short notice. But now they're just like, I'm surprised one of us hasn't gotten a call. The UFC's like the census guy.
Like, I can make 135.
It's all about height these days. I'm looking at these girls like, huh?
Did you guys see Darren Wynn popped for antihistamines or
Methamphetamines?
not methamphetamines, amphetamines?
Amphetamines.
But they
Whatever.
didn't state, so I think it was meth. But people are saying they were probably Adderall.
It don't matter. In the same one that I seen it had Tim Elliott, and I said,
But he had
I'm
marijuana.
surprised he didn't pop for the amphetamines.
Truth.
Adderall's the same
And then
as the meth.
was it Bob Ross? Violent Bob Ross, was he in there too?
For weed.
Yeah. Meth.
But they all got suspended or they got their sentences reduced. But Darren Wynn just took one for it just happened maybe yesterday, the day before that. So interesting.
Fuck him.
Little meth head. So then we had Andre Muniz come in as an underdog against Bartosz Fabinski. Fabinski tends to be the wrestler in there, went right to where Muniz wanted to get to, went for the fake triangle, ended up switching it to an armbar, and that was a quick tap. Absolutely quick tap. Beautiful transition by Muniz there. I saw a lot of bettors come in on Muniz. I was still on Fabinski. It didn't work out for me. Muniz looks like he's filling out in there. There wasn't much to see from either guy, but Fabinski's definitely capped at a limit here, even though he's beat better guys. Muniz is someone I think we need to start to look out for. Striking-wise, though, Arroyo showed that he's nothing outstanding. What'd you guys take away from this quick one?
I missed it.
I
I did miss this fight. I was like up getting a drink or whatever.
it was
Yeah, it was quick.
It was quick. I normally stayed away from this fight. I was like, I don't know enough about these two dudes. I'm going to stay away from this. But by the time fight card came around with my DraftKings card specifically, you had so few fights to pick from. I had to go with Fabinski. Like, I was just like, oh, I'll go with the guy I went with, Fabinski. I would have never picked this fight. I looked at my fight card. I only had 4 DraftKings cards, but I picked them on like every one. I'm like, who the fuck is Fabinski? And I, like the same as him. I didn't even see that fight. I was like, oh, I'm gonna make a sandwich or whatever I was doing. It'll be quick.
Yep. I'll be in it while they're grappling in the middle, getting their feels in the first round. And all of a sudden it's like, oh, that's a quick tap. So can't take much away from that. They'll both get other shots moving on. But another performance of the night for Muniz there as the underdog. Then we went to one of the profile fights of the night with Michel Pereira coming against Zelim Imadaev at 170 pounds. I mean, another showcase for Pereira here. Imadaev not being one of the Russians who stood out lately, but we saw that at Lab B. We were telling you guys, Imadaev ain't it. He ain't it. He looked like the quarantine's not done him well, where freaking Pereira looks like a 185er.
Yeah.
And he's apparently wrestling cows and all sorts of good stuff, getting ready for this fight. If you guys didn't see that.
I did not see that.
Yeah,
But,
he's
I mean,
training with animals.
Ricky, he said he was off the Michelle Pereira to train. I was like, you're fucking nuts, bro. I said, I still love this dude. And I loved the whole fight. I thought he was funny with all the dumb shit he was doing, and he caught him a couple of good times. I know Chaney's upset with the ending. I didn't give a shit. I mean, I think he still would have sunk it in and got his ass perfectly, even if he didn't tap.
There was enough time. There was a complete enough time. There was still like 28 seconds left on the clock. And the way, if you look at the final squeeze, his nose was like, like just pouring blood out of it. But I just don't think it was a tap yet. But Pereira, I was going to say, when I was watching the fight, I thought, oh, the rest of it, Buddy's going to be like, meh, You know, the two lady fights, a couple things went long, but this fight, this is everything you show up to UFC for. He's kind of the guy you show up to UFC for. He has enough flair, his style inside the ring. He talks a little shit. He has like a little peacocking going on. He backs it up with power. He does have precision. He's showing that he's calming down. His ring IQ is getting a little better. His gas tank's getting a little better. I've been a lover of Pereira, a hater of Pereira, and now I'm like, okay, I like all of it. I'm on. I thought it was a great fight. I thought it was so fun.
Definitely there. Imadaev, again, I think is going to be known to be one of the lesser talents in the sport when it's all said and done. And Pereira, I thought that it was definitely early, but there was no way Imadaev was going to win that fight. Was it going to be a submission? It was deep. Whether the other hooks were in there or not, I mean, those if I was a ref in there, I probably wouldn't have called it as a tap, but there was some absolutely quick grabbing for that hand that kind of doubled back and forth. So I like Pereira, as you guys are saying. He's only going to bring in the more casual fans even more, that I'm going to be able to play in DraftKings and win money off of a lot easier, because there's money to be made against Pereira. But I do like what you're saying, Chaney, with his gas tank. He was the second highest striker throughout the entire night. He definitely had tons of volume in there and wasn't breathing all that hard in that third round.
And see, and this is where I was thinking, oh, he's going to love this guy, because I thought he's handsome, his hair stayed together at the end, his tits were all swelled.
Absolutely. He's a maniac in there. He's a maniac. He runs with the horses.
To me, like, if you compare him to that heavyweight or light heavyweight or whatever, Yuri or whatever, that's like, I said that Yuri felt like he was doing it a little bit too much in a way, but it was still funny.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like that performance that he put on today, talking about Michel Pereira,
Yuri Prochazka?
yeah, that guy. But I'm talking about,
Okay.
but that performance was just perfect to me. I just loved it when he was holding his hand out. You know, he's like, "I got this fucking present for you."
He's kissing it.
Popped him in the motherfucking head with it, bro. And everything about it, dude. And every time he threw a flying knee, he practically jumped over top of dude.
Yeah.
It was like,
He
how the
does
fuck
that.
does he just do that like that? You know,
He
What
played
else
like a
was
real
there?
video game. He literally played like somebody you'd play against in a video. The showtime, the spinning, the, like you're saying, the knees,
ain't
the...
nobody that good in the video game but me.
Did he get kicked mid-air and there was like a weird scramble? I think Pereira threw a knee at a point in time and got kicked and like half did a front flip. It was freaking awesome. Go back and watch the tape.
I remember that front flip that he did. That like he threw his legs. It was like
He did Rolling Thunder. He did attempt Rolling Thunder, but there was a different check in there. But again, I wish I had these skills when it came to statistics. When I'm like, oh, go back at like 359 and you'll be able to see this. Stupid.
What about his call out for BMF?
I hate it.
Stupid. He's shooting too high, right?
Yeah,
Too early.
he hasn't fought anyone.
Yeah, way too early.
Way too early.
It's too early, but it'll be good for a reel if he has 2 more rad performances.
Yep.
But
So who would you give Pereira?
170.
I'm not excited enough.
Can you believe
know what I mean?
he's
I'm not
170? Shit.
He's humongous.
Let him fight Tim Means.
All day.
You know what I mean?
I'll
You know what
watch
I
him eat Dirty Bird up.
Let's see it.
Wow.
I'd love that fight.
Let him start chewing through him, like getting to the top 20 though. What's his ranking?
Dirty Bird?
No.
I don't know.
Let's see. Is he
I don't think
unranked?
they're. Yeah, he's not ranked.
Yeah,
Me,
I think
shouldn't be.
maybe top 20 guys. Is Dirty
That's what
Bird
I'm
top
missing.
20, top 30?
He's probably
Barely.
yeah,
barely.
barely.
I think that's a good fight.
Yeah. Oh, I'd watch that all day.
The
And
winner
who-
gets to become a gatekeeper for the top 15.
Or
Yeah.
I mean, Pereira makes his run from that. He only uses that as a stepping stone because that's the level of opponent that he needs to keep moving up in order to keep climbing that ladder.
I
What
like
about
him.
Nico Price?
I think Nico Price is a little too high right now.
What
Nico
about
Price
this?
is
Nico Price,
ahead.
winner of Cowboy Nico Price.
I like that, but it's gonna be Nico Price who wins that fight, so it's gonna be Nico Price.
I got Cowboy.
Good
That's what I like.
luck, buddy.
We already discussed.
Good luck,
this.
buddy.
I'm riding with Cowboy in that one.
Let's go, boy. Put that on your Fight Big Championships,
I
by the
will.
way.
I will.
Good. Good.
I
I'm
don't
happy
believe in
for you.
Nico Price for that.
Good.
The hybrid is
Good.
gonna go down.
Good.
We'll see.
The Cowboy is gonna destroy the hybrid.
We'll see if maybe if a shoulder hits him, a fist. We'll see if Cowboy quits again
Now,
real
you
quick.
know what I think? I think
Nico-
Cowboy
Nico
actually
is
has
no
the ground
counter.
game advantage. I think Cowboy can catch. Everybody always forgets about how slick Cowboy is on the ground, and Nico want to go play down there. He's gonna
but
get
he's gonna have
caught
to-
up.
I don't think Nico is though. I think Nico's gonna throw some strikes and Cowboy's gonna go limp, even if he's off his back because
Nico's no counter for real.
And another thing too, I have to say, I agree with that. One, Nico's no Connor, but two, we haven't seen Cowboy off a rest in quite some time. This is a nice little break for Cowboy.
I'm excited for that one. I can't wait. I've been a Price ride or die for a bit.
Me too. I just
I
never
think-
saw him
I
being a
think
guy.
Mike Perry was a more dangerous matchup for fucking Cowboy.
I don't know about that.
You
I
know
don't
what?
know about that.
That's the fight I want. Mike Perry Pereira.
Ooh, that's a
Winner
good fight
gets the
too.
BMF tight, the number one contender for
I don't
BMF.
hate
That's
that.
much closer.
I don't hate that.
That's much closer than Imadaev. Who the fuck was Imadaev on the 2-fight losing streak? It would have to be that type of a fighter to get into the BMF type of talks. So I really like that. Then we had the co-main event of the evening at 205 pounds. OSP coming in against Alonzo Menafield. TKO round number 2, 4 minutes, 7 seconds into the fight. Check left hook. OSP. I got talked into Menafield. Oh boy, was I wrong. I had Menafield on too many damn cards.
Who the fuck
yeah.
talked you into it?
Evil twin. But you know
Oh,
what is so
God.
weird? I feel like if you maybe listened to when they were supposed to fight the first time, I feel like me, E, and Evil Twin all had
OSP.
OSP. And just because of the extra time in between, we all switched to Minifield. Boo.
Ricky switched to Menafield. I don't know if he picked. He might have actually picked OSP.
Ugh. I had OSP decision the first time around. I could have moved it to submission. But either way, the knockout came beautifully. Walk-off KO. Real low output for Menafield in there. I know we were worried about his gas tank, but he literally wasn't throwing in there. He was throwing 1 and 2 punch combinations, then being done.
So you don't
Yeah.
take anything about the OSP win? You more say poo-poo on Minifield?
Absolutely. OSP is a gatekeeper, as we're saying, but that gatekeeper for probably that top 8 range, top 10 range, where Menafield is borderline top 20. He's going to beat the scrubs at the bottom, but there's too many glaring holes in his game right now. Not only is it output, it's his chin now. I mean, on the ground, we haven't seen him all that much either. There's just, when he's not blasting you in the first round, Menafield looks very human.
I kind
Yeah,
of
I enjoyed the fight. I really did, and I picked OSP for a second round submission. So I was a little disappointed. But,
Close.
you know,
Did
I thought-
OSP look monstrous in there? They look like 2 different characters to me.
Well, OSP just fought the heavyweight recently.
Yeah,
you know?
I know.
So I mean, he did seem a lot bigger frame. That's because Menafield's real jacked. You know,
Right.
little. He's shorter but jacked, and I don't know. I was loving all the kicks that OSP was throwing to the body and shit. And I think it was in the beginning of the second round. I kept yelling, because he kept going for kicks to the head. I was like, just fucking please kick him in the body as hard as you can, because I felt like the body shots were landing, bro.
Yeah, they were.
But the head kicks just wasn't really landing. So it's like, just keep fucking laying into them body kicks. But then he caught him with that. Was it a left?
Check left. Yep, check left hook has on the
He stepped
exit.
into that shit too. He was like,
Right, right. Walk off there.
Yeah, I totally. I think OSP. I thought he looked bodied up, and he looked really good in there. I think he's picking his shots wisely, and homeboy Minifield was spending time headhunting OSP. I thought OSP was circling around nice. I thought he was using the octagon and decent footwork. He wasn't playing possum and taking a bunch of shots like he normally takes, and I love the way he was setting up the kicks. I love that. I love that addition to his game because he's so good on the ground and dangerous in really weird ways that if he starts adding little nasty things like that, all bodied up, weight behind it, dangerous. OSP, I still like him on his run. I wish I didn't fall off. Menifield coming forward with all that. Off his back foot, OSP, boop! He just face plant.
When you look at OSP's record, right, or his like resume, whatever, it's like whenever he's fought notable names, he usually shits the bed. So that's kind of why you can't get too hot on him.
Yeah.
Yep. He's even though he's super tricky, there's a lot of just ways to be able to outthink OSP in there. But raw
is he a
athleticism.
counter striker more so than maybe we talk about? And so seeing a guy with just so much forward pressure like Menifield, we get to see that kind of reaction, whereas John Jones is so calculated, he knows how to, kind of use that against a guy.
John Jones specifically said after all the tape study he does, which John Jones says he does more than anyone, that he's like, I never jumped in once hard on OSP because I know OSP will counter me and knock me out at any time of the fight. That's why that one went 5 rounds. John Jones said it himself. And I feel like we talked a little bit about that as well. Like, OSP's not someone to run in on randomly. He will check your ass real quick. And on the ground, he's a demon. So I don't know if he makes a run for it. But again, gatekeeper. OSP is the epitome of a gatekeeper.
Yeah, exactly.
Menifield's not there yet.
And Nico Price isn't either.
Oh, we'll see about that. We'll see about that.
I'm excited for that fight now.
Me too.
Now that fight's going to fall out too.
Oh, how dare you.
Because I just told y'all I refuse to get excited for fights. Now that I'm excited for it.
So, then we had the main event at 265. Alistair Overeem coming in against Augusto Sakai. This was a close one for the first 2 rounds. Then it really got one-sided. I mean, the veteran coming in with the biggest strike accuracy against a young up-and-comer who really did well. I was really impressed by Sakai in those first 2 rounds. I thought he had a ton of volume, good placement in his shots, and really just kind of burned out a little bit, especially once the grappling got involved. But fun outing. Sakai's got a place in the UFC. We're going to see him for a while.
Yeah, so I feel the same way. The only thing is I feel like I expected the fight to go down almost exactly the same. I expected him to finish him early, like late in the third, though. That's what I picked. The thing we were talking about, like whether it was a proper finish or not, the only thing that I was thinking about that I wanted to touch on after you guys spoke was the ref had told him, you gotta move or you gotta defend yourself, whatever the fuck he said, and he didn't move until the ref called it. He just didn't move. He just was sitting there taking it.
Yeah.
So that right there is like,
he got more than one warning. He got 2 warnings from Herb Dean, like defend yourself, and then he stopped.
He didn't do shit. He didn't even move until Herb Dean fucking moved him off. So that right there, like that's why I'm like, yo, you got told to fucking move and you didn't. So you gave up.
He already was like kind of quitting in the 4th round. I thought, like Emanuel said, I thought the first round was really close. The second round, he looked really good. The inside clinch, there was times he looked stronger than Overeem. He got some nasty knees in on Overeem. It was when he was laying off punches that Overeem, and I've noticed this in the last few fights, and I think it's the elevation team that's really taught him. He's gotten so good at really blocking shots and depleting another guy's gas tank. Like, even, I don't know how true it is to real life, because even though I've boxed in life, like thrown punches, I've never blocked punches and thrown at somebody just blocking punches and feeling the depletion on me compared to when I'm landing on clean flesh of face and body. So I watch you guys play the game, though, and I see how much if you guys block punches, how much it depletes of my dude. So that seems to be Overeem's little trick, that if you're going to go 5 rounds with him, you can't unload and think you have him hurt just because you're feeling like your gloves are landing, because a lot of the times they're hitting somewhere in this area of his body. He's good at turtling up here. So Overeem has that ring IQ, and he's aware he has a glass jaw, and I think he protects it so amazingly well. He took some really hard shots, but most of them I think he blocked.
Yeah, well, the big arms help.
Yeah, all those big heavyweight guys. I just think he's. I've been an Overeem hater for years and years and years, and usually at this age, I tell guys to walk away. But I really am liking Overeem more and more and more every fight. So this one, yeah, he had it anyway. To me, I thought he had 4 rounds to 1 pretty cleanly, regardless of how it ended. Most of my bitterness is because it fucked with my Fight Big Championship.
Oh, y'all picked,
I had Overeem decision.
Me too.
So once it got close, after it wasn't going to be a sub or a clean knockout, I'm like, now I'm selfish.
Once it got to the ground in the 5th, I was like, please just wrestle him for a good 5 minutes. Please just wrestle him. And he started landing hard. I'm like, that's cool, but please just go to decision for my FPC. But as you're saying with Overeem, liking what we're seeing finally from him, but it's gonna be soon. He's gonna see somebody better quality than Sakai and or Walt Harris that isn't gonna slow down. I mean, just think of him against Blades, against Ngannou, against Miocic. All those guys walk right through Overeem at this point of his career.
Let's see.
They already have.
Yeah,
Literally,
they absolutely
Literally,
have.
all those guys have whipped his ass.
Yeah, so who's left at the heavyweight? Junior Dos Santos again?
What about Overeem versus Verdum?
I'd love that, but it was the most boring fight ever. What was it, like 3-4 years ago?
Has he fought Volkov? Why not Volkov?
I don't think that I've seen that. I don't think they've Volkov and Overeem have fought.
Or what about
That
if you
could be-
give Overeem a feed and we watch like Overeem versus Jimmy Manawa?
Oh, I wish. I wish. But man was out of the game. Tired with freaking Daniel Cormier. But Anthony Johnson's coming back in, and it's going to be a heavyweight.
I don't hate that.
Huh.
But if
Alistair
Anthony
Overeem
comes
Johnson?
back in, then I want Overeem to retire for a few months and then come back as the Reem, and then see
You
Anthony
mean our horse-
Johnson with all his Botox in his face against Overeem, all titted up, and then super battle. It'll be like that Rampage video game.
I would love that.
If it was the Rampage video game, who would be the other one fighter? Brock Lesnar, all juiced to the tits. You drop him in the video game.
Shane Carwin. He was a massive motherfucker.
Oh, yeah.
He was gnarly. What other really big guys were there? I mean, Todd Duffy was always just glam muscle, though. It was always just glamorous muscle. He had like 2 or 3 knockouts, but really was just bottom of the barrel.
One of my favorite matches I ever watched was when Todd Duffy got knocked out by that dude.
Frank
older
Mir?
dude. No, the older dude. It was like a little old dude. He was beating the guys. The guy was getting his ass up the whole match. I don't remember the guy's name.
Frank Mir.
It was not Frank Mir. He was a little guy. Frank Mir is kind of a bigger dude.
Randy Couture.
No.
If we had a regular segment,
Not nearly that famous. I'll tell you. I'll pull it up. I mean,
you pull it up and
I'll.
I'll fill in your. And I like your new earphones, by the way. Are they the new ones?
Oh shit! Hell yeah!
Ooh.
Yeah, they're pretty nice.
Nice. They look nice. And we're gonna have a segment of the round table. It won't be called this officially, but it's just an easy way to explain what it is. Is that it's kind of your best and worst of the night. So we'll go through first and do everybody wants the bad news first. So what gave you the DAP?
So I gotta go first.
Oh, you don't have to. I'll go first. What gave me the DAP of the night for UFC Vegas 9 was all of the fallouts. I kind of agree with Buddy. As much as I want fights, at some point I would be better with the whole fight card being canceled. So that's was my DAP of the night.
Hard to. What does DAP stand for again?
Dry ass pussy.
I was gonna say dry ass penis, but whatever.
You can't. It would be that for you. I hope.
Yeah,
I mean,
absolutely.
I have no energy sent toward it.
And we could call it SAP, soft ass penis.
Yeah, there it is.
I like it. I'd probably say that De La Rosa. No, the Pereira call out for the BMF belt. That had me pretty soft.
For me, it was when Brian Kelleher came out, and I could vaguely hear that in my earphones from the party mic or whatever. You know what I mean? But I have to watch fucking ads because I was watching it legally on ESPN Plus.
Illegally or legally?
Legally, but they were watching it on like on a link, and they get to see the walkout. I didn't.
That's crazy. In other countries, because they don't have the same commercial laws, they don't have to place the commercial in there, or because of the package that the country buys, they don't have to fill that. The money's already been paid off. But here in the States, we get headache commercials, we get Chick-fil-A commercials. I would love to just watch the ring corners. If I could just switch over to the blue or red corner and listen to them, I would love that. We used to do it.
Hell yeah.
You're right. That's got me sapped up right now. I'm all sappy right now.
Sap into the floor.
Right. And now it's time for what, the WAP and the HAP.
Yeah.
Yep.
Let's see. My favorite part of the whole night was Pereira. Even though he had a little bit of a shit call out, I feel like if he wasn't on the night, this would have been 100% a forgettable night to me. I won't even remember Sakai's name. I'll be like, that one guy, that Overeem, I'll think he was like Tai Tuivasa 2 months from now. I will have all forget, but I'll only remember Pereira tonight. So he gave me the WAP.
What gave me the hap, I guess, is going to be that check left hook from OSP. Even though it was against the guy I switched on, I knew initially why I picked OSP, so he got me. He woke me up for the rest of the evening in the co-main event. Hell of a left hook. He deserves all of the 50K.
I would say I enjoyed your two's situations.
Highlights.
Yeah, but my most hype moment of the night was legit when Brian Kelleher got the guillotine, because I was just saying to my buddies, like, yeah, definitely still first round submission. And then he fucking did it. I was like, I fucking told y'all. What the fuck's up? You know what I mean?
The thing that sucks, I would have said Kelleher as well, but it's because it was against such a nobody on 24 hours notice.
You're not
But I
allowed to
did think
mess
that.
with his sap.
I'm sure. Sorry, you're right.
No, it's
You're
fine.
right.
But the thing is I was even
Wait,
saying
it's a
that
hap.
you got to give him credit because
It was hap.
your opponent's changing so often. You kind of fucks with your head, and you don't know who the fuck this guy is. You know, he
True,
might be
true. You
somebody.
could flop.
Yeah.
You could
So I
flop or
think
you
that
could boom.
I'm just saying that he did well, and I was excited. Fuck both of you.
No, I think it's good. So I think if you want your haps and waps, you should get it at Fights of the Round Table. Do you guys have anything you want to plug before we head out of here, or any hot news in
Yes.
UFC you want to get input on?
Well, mine is literally only stuff I'm doing.
What's going on?
Nothing to do
Do
with
it.
All right, so me and my buddy JJ, aka the English bloke, you know him. We decided to start our own fight league because he got fucked over by somebody else that he was running a league with, and I was like, you know what, fuck it. We
What
had
does
our
a fight league mean?
online UFC league.
Okay.
So we put on our first card Friday, which was I guess yesterday, and it went fucking well. It went great. It was fun, and we had
Real
you know,
quick, for any of our old people fans, that's the Twitch we've been telling you about to get over to download. Any people that are going to watch this on YouTube later, Twitch. So you think you can just watch these boring UFC fights? They actually have tournaments over there, and people are playing UFC 4, and they're intense. So go on. Go. I just wanted to fill in the backstory.
I liked it. I liked it. You're filling it in for the people that don't know what I'm saying. So me and JJ, we love the game and stuff, and we're really knowledgeable. He's number 2 in the world all the times. I got up to 46 in the world at one point. I go back and forth though. We have a pretty decent community behind us, so we decided to get the guys together and give them a platform to have fun and do great things. We call it Valhalla MMA. We both were in. He used to be in another fight team. I used to be in. I'm not even MMA gods anymore. That's a whole nother thing. But
Jesus.
I need to put that.
No, no,
Hold on. Let me take that logo right off my computer right now.
well, I gave it to Jacob,
Okay.
so it still exists. I just decided to give ownership to somebody because new opportunities come about, and I need to be more competitive to do well in these leagues. But long story short, you can catch us on twitch.tv/Valhalla MMA. It was super fun. Like I said, we had at least 30 people and most of the time watching and just loving the fights and talking shit.
I love it.
That sounds like a great place.
If you ever need
Hell yeah.
announcers for your fight cards, I'm always down because I would have been probably there watching this weekend, but I was at a wedding.
It's all good. 2 p.m. Oh, next one might be we're undecided. I think it's either going to be Saturday or Sunday, but we got a whole Discord for it and everything else.
Do you actually have announcers? Because that would be kind of fun to just announce
Well,
one of the fights.
commentary like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So right now, and we're always open for more. It's just me and my buddy JJ doing it.
Well, if you guys are
So-
playing, I will be totally nerd out for real. I thought it would be fun. I've thought about this idea for you before, even when I was like, you should start your own league. I would put on a jacket and do it full corny, like real style. Maybe I'd take this out of the thing and be like, so today, blah, blah, blah. Or, put it down and make it look a little more like the UFC events. It would be fun.
Yeah. It's definitely fun, and that's one thing that we do differently than a lot of leagues, is we pull people in the Discord chat to interview them afterwards.
And I would be color and E would be commentator.
That's cool.
Like with my production, we're not-
Absolutely. That's where I'm like, I could talk about fights easy.
Yeah, you should
Yeah.
see how much he commentates when we watch fights.
It's horrible.
But I ask him tons of questions too. Like, what does he, during the slower times, if nothing's going on, I'll be like, what would he want to do here to defend that? Or, is he going for, and then E will go on, something else. So It's almost like we do it without microphones in the living room.
Yeah, it can be. A little bit of whisk gets in the way for sure. But we got another fun weekend coming up here right around the corner. Angela Hill, Michelle Watterson, 115 headlining. How do you guys feel about that one?
I want to
Cool.
hold on one sec. Where can everyone follow? You said Valhalla TV, and they can also listen to your podcast at MMA Marks.
Yeah.
And
Find me MMA_Marks on Twitch. Just look up MMA Marks anywhere. MMAmarks.com. MMA Marks everywhere. I don't know. Sorry guys, I'm pretty high right now.
no worries. And what about our MMA show?
At LatB MMA underscore or at LatB underscore MMA on Instagram, on Twitter, at Zoltanite if you want to find me on Twitch, as well as some YouTube content out there as well. We're mixing it all together as you are, buddy. We're always evolving and kind of moving and hustling as well, trying to see what grabs our attention, especially in these evolving times right now. So definitely you
doing
can
our
find me
live
at
show.
Zoltanite on Twitter.
Yeah, we've been doing the Latby live show on Twitch because I do like the audience more. It's more interactive. It gives. It's just, I think, a little more friendly of a community. There can be trolls, but everything seems more user-friendly these days. And then I've been uploading the video to YouTube. So it's still there, but it's more fun to play along. And I just think everyone should go over to Twitch. Most people are gaming anyway. I'm curious to watch how people are gaming. Yeah. I don't think I'm going to do my conspiracy podcast uploaded there. But if you guys want to check out the Idiocalypse, if you feel like getting super stoned and unplugging your brain and thinking, what if all the newspapers and television have been lying to us forever? Bud,
What if?
I can't hear you.
Are you muted? He's faking it. Oh, you're muted. He's absolutely faking it. There, now he's on me. Oh,
no.
you got a dead mic. Your batteries are dead.
Oh, it does say mute. It
Muted.
does say microphone off
I see that.
on the side.
You sweating all over that thing?
Oh, it does say the microphone's off. Now it says it's unmuted, right?
It's unmuted. Yeah, that's what I see on the screen as well.
But now
so.
try turning it up
Riveting
again.
here. Try standing on your head. Try shitting your pants.
This is some of the best part of the show. There.
Let's try this.
Oh,
You're there, but you
static.
have some highs.
Super static.
Well,
It just sounds like you're in an echo chamber.
It sounds like it's a
your
running
microphone on
water.
your computer might be picking up, and not the
Or you're-
microphone in your.
Having explosive diarrhea. It's running down your pant, and it sounds like a river.
Oh boy, is it good now? Is he there again? See, the best part is if you're one of the few lucky people that get to tune in live. Oh, you're coming in a little.
I'm not hearing. it.
But if you're one of the
Oh,
people that
there.
tune in live, you deal with some of the production. But on Anchor, if you're one of the people that want to tune into the audio, you'll never hear any of this. This doesn't even exist. That's what I've gotten better at doing with the shows, where I'm like, meh,
No.
whatever. It's one of
Totally.
the live people get the background. They
Can you
get,
hear me?
Yeah.
Yep, now it's good.
Hey, I was leaning like this, right? I was pulling
Yeah.
I'm so high, I was pulling the shit out, and I just figured it out that I was pulling out the plug. My bad. I'm like moving all the settings and shit.
No worries at all. And I do
It's
feel
all
like
good.
because everybody's doing some form of live production, even if they're just running their Zoom office meeting at their real daytime job, they have the stresses and understand it a little more now. So I feel more relaxed. Like, you know what? Everybody's having to live life on these things now. So
Oh yeah.
it is
True
what
that.
it is. All right. Yeah, I guess we're plugging things. But I actually thought Bill Gates muted your microphone after I plugged my conspiracy podcast.
Yeah, the chip they installed in my brain made me pull my own mic out.
You went all MK Ultra all of a sudden. You were
You
like,
heard it here first. You
I
heard
was,
it
I was
here
about to
first.
start writing shit down and showing you. I swear
Was
I'm
that
really talking. This is not a joke.
Was that 5 fingers you held up?
I guess. Why?
Okay.
Am I not allowed?
Okay. I'm just
fuck-
saying.
sparkles, sparkles. That's my new thing because I feel like everything's a symbol now. So I'm like, I'm going to do spirit fingers at people like a cheerleader.
Why? Is that a symbol now?
Huh? I don't know.
I missed that.
I thought on your palm you had a triangle with an eye in it.
I thought you had a fish with the number 13.
It's a 3 or an M.
Speaking of an M, every time I drive by McDonald's and I see the golden arches, I have to say aloud, M stands for migraine because every time I eat McDonald's, I get a migraine.
Oh, you do not say that. Don't put that in my head. Don't put that evil on me.
I
Well,
love McDonald's.
I do too, but every time I eat it, it does not agree with my body. Yep. So that's the last thing I want to plug.
I forgot we were even recording and we're talking about McDonald's. We're like, yep.
Yeah, so that's it, I guess, from my
It
end.
evolved quickly.
All the love, truth, and love from my side.
Peace and love. Peace and love.
Let me.